Hello, and welcome to Sympo's Empower 2021 on-demand session, where we'll be discussing JavaScript remediation. My name is Aurora Flores, and I oversee business development for Sympo. I've been working with Quickbase for over 18 years, and I'm happy you've decided to join us today. Also with me is Diana Miller, a senior Quickbase developer who knows Quickbase inside and out. We're both based in the greater Los Angeles area. As mentioned earlier, our presentation will focus on JavaScript remediation, a term you may have heard often in the last few months. Today's session will focus on the following topics. What is JavaScript remediation? Where do I find the information? What are my deadlines? And of course, we'll walk you through a couple of common use cases and solutions. Let's start with the basics so you get a better understanding of what we're covering today. JavaScript is code used to modify the Quickbase UI or enable a non-native workflow. For example, the ability to create a series of tasks for a project at once simply by clicking a button. It's typically injected into formula fields, text fields, rich text fields, and custom branding. Quickbase is closing this ability because it wants to improve stability and security. They are also unable to sanitize these types of use cases. Quickbase will continue to support custom code via the Quickbase code pages. Finally, we are also going to cover how to remove JavaScript from formula fields, but still keep the necessary use case. This, of course, only works in some instances. I know some of you are worried. You might have inherited your app and you're not sure what to do. Don't worry. Perhaps you may have actually inserted JavaScript knowingly or unknowingly and not sure how to remove it. Don't worry. During today's session, we'll cover common use cases and solutions that should help you with your remediation plan. We're here to help you anytime during Empower or afterwards. Please visit our virtual Empower sponsor booth to chat with us live. Where do you find information about JavaScript remediation? The first place you can find information is the Quickbase blog, and I've provided the URL here, but it will also be included in our on-demand session PDF summary. This is a great blog that describes exactly why the remediation is happening and gives you insight to important deadlines. Second place you can look is the Quickbase email you should have received in early March. If you'd like to search for that email, the subject line reads, "Upcoming changes to JavaScript in Quickbase." That email contains very critical information, such as this link, which will take you to your Quickbase JavaScript usage app. This app is great. It provides information about where JavaScript is found throughout your realm and gives you specific details, such as the app name, table name, and field name and ID. It will definitely help you with your remediation plan. We have been using our app on a daily basis. And the last place you'll find JavaScript information is when you are editing fields as an administrator inside of your Quickbase application. If one of your fields is using JavaScript, you're going to see this pop-up message down on the bottom right. This message provides some important links for you to access help, such as a link to the Quickbase blog on JavaScript remediation. Let's cover the deadlines. The first deadline is April 2021, where JavaScript will no longer be allowed in rich text fields. This use case is where actual users, not administrators, would intentionally inject JavaScript into a text box. Again, it's not common because they would have to be pretty savvy users, and the average user does not typically do this. If you didn't notice the closing of this type of injection, chances are it was probably not occurring in your app. Our next deadline is June 2021. This is when Quickbase is closing the ability to inject JavaScript through custom branding, such as your app's footer, or header to modify the UI or implement a non-native workflow. And last but not least, the August 2021 deadline. You will no longer be able to use JavaScript in formula fields. This is a very common use case, and we will be walking you through examples today. Let's review the use cases that Diana will cover next. Have you ever used magic buttons? If you have, you probably noticed that many of them use JavaScript. How about the recurring wizard UI? That is the wizard that allows you to create recurring tasks. We use it quite often, and we'll be walking you through the removal of JavaScript, but allowing you to continue to benefit from its great functionality. And last but not least, you have probably used the copy master details feature. At this point, I will ask Diana to walk you through these examples.
Thank you, Aurora. We will use ABC construction to review a few quick ways to remediate JavaScript and formulas. ABC construction works with clients to put up buildings from planning to construction. They manage multiple projects and track tasks and meetings for those projects. The first use case we will cover is a formula-rich text button that is used to update the record to the next status in line, as well as capture the date, time, and the user that last clicked the button. The existing JavaScript is similar to that pulled from magic buttons. Notice the alert that pops up indicating we are using JavaScript. To remediate, we will insert a redirect in the URL variable. In addition, we will remove the JavaScript portion from the formula. I'm going to go ahead and save that. And to verify it no longer has JavaScript, we're going to go back into that formula and notice the alert no longer appears. I'm going to click this button to verify that it still works. You can see here I clicked it and I pushed it to in progress and captured the date, time, and the user that last clicked the button. The next example is to help you remediate if you have ever implemented a button using the recurring records wizard. ABC Construction likes to ensure they schedule regular calls and meetings with their team and our clients. In this example, we use the wizard to create a generate recurring meetings button, which allows us to schedule consecutive meetings based on the date of the record you are on. If you are currently using the recurring JavaScript, you will need to update the formula to exclude the JavaScript reference. Once again, notice the alert that pops up to indicate we are using JavaScript. To remediate, we will remove a portion of the code. And we will go ahead and save that formula. To generate, we can click the button, or actually, let's go verify our alert is gone. When I go back in, the alert no longer appears. Now let's go verify that this still works. When I open that up, I can specify the recurrence pattern and the number of occurrences. It's going to generate those meetings, and there they are. Our final example is to assist you if you are using copy master detail records. In this instance, ABC Construction uses the button to generate tasks depending on the project type that is selected. In our existing formula button, we have a variable that indicates which template to use. And again, you can see the alert. However, we are unable to remove JavaScript from this button in order to generate the records. So in this instance, we will use a pipeline to remediate. The first step is to create a template tasks table. That way you can manage your tasks separate from your main tasks table. And you can see here we have one set of tasks for commercial and one set for residential. For the pipeline, I will walk you through the steps we use to create the pipeline to replace the copy master details behavior. The first step, we are using the record created trigger. We specify the account. We specify the table. In this instance, it's the projects table that will be our trigger. And we designate which fields will be used in subsequent steps. In this instance, we selected the project type and the number of tasks. In addition, we added a query. Number of tasks is 0. For the next step, we are using the prepare bulk record upsert. Using the bulk upsert will provide better performance overall. In this instance, we selected the tasks table as this is the table we will be inserting the records. In addition, we designated which fields will be populated when we are creating the records. In this case, it's the related project, so that those tasks get linked to the project, as well as the task name, which we are copying from our template table. And then we selected the record ID number as the merge field. Step C is where we tell it what records we want to copy. So in this instance, we're looking into the template tasks table. We need to reference the task and the template type. These equate to the task name and the project type. In the query is where we specify which ones to copy. In this instance, we're saying the template type is, and we need it to match the project type from step A. And we can designate that using a Jinja expression. Within that step, we added a add bulk upsert row step. So for each record it finds, it will insert that into our tasks table. Within that step, we're passing the record ID into the related project and the task name from step C into the task name. To close out the pipeline, we use the commit upsert step, and you select bulk record set. Now let's go see this in action. Going to create a new project. And I'm going to select the project type. The project type is what will drive the generation of the tasks. So we're going to give the pipeline a moment to run. It will do some processing in the back end. And then once we refresh, we should see our tasks below. And now you can see our tasks have been generated. You may be using JavaScript in similar ways or for more complex workflows. Should you need assistance with any JavaScript remediation, Sympo is here to help.
Thank you, Diana. That was very helpful information. Again, I'd like to reiterate that Sympo would love to help you if you need it. I'm going to leave my contact information up for just a little bit. So you have my email, aflores@sympo.com, and my mobile phone number, 323-972-8167. I've also listed the URL to create a 30-minute meeting with me directly via Calendly. And again, you could also visit our Empower sponsor booth and speak to us directly. We'd love to virtually meet you. Now, you may be asking yourself, how will I remember all of this? If I haven't said this enough, don't worry. Just email me at aflores@sympo.com and I will email you a PDF detailing what we covered in today's session, including the examples so that you are able to recreate them on your end. We appreciate you taking the time to listen to our on-demand session. Thank you very much for joining us today. We hope you enjoyed it and we look forward to hearing from you.